Okay, what I'm going to do here, we're going to build a little Altoids survival stove. Altoids tin. These are really neat to have. They'll work good in a bug-out bag or just as a little emergency stove to go camping. Here's what I have. I've got some JB Weld, which is an epoxy. I've got some of these little posting cap screws you get at the hardware store. And I'll show what we're going to use those for in a second. I've got 4 of these. We've got a little bit of screen. This is actually gutter recovering here, and some fiberglass insulation. And with these I'll make a nice little alcohol stove. First thing I want to do is just take these and run them across with 100 grit sandpaper, just kind of rough them up a little bit so the epoxy will stick better to them. And I've already done all of them here. But then I take a little piece of sandpaper, kind of rough the bottom of the Altoid can up where you're going to put the epoxy, and I'll show you what that's all about. This makes it, it's got a pot stand with it and everything. It's kind of a neat way of doing it. And just kind of mix the epoxy up here. I'm using ends of Q-tips. Popsicle sticks actually work better, but I didn't have any, so put a little ribbon of hardener and a little ribbon of the actual weld material here. And then this is the kitchen table. I mean, this is just easy to do. And while that fiberglass right there is just fiberglass house insulation. This is white. You can use the pink stuff. I just had some little piece of the white stuff around, so I'm going to use that. You mix this epoxy up until it all turns kind of one color, and you know it's ready. And there we go. Now, you just take a little dab of it, put it on the bottom of these little screws, and set a screw in each corner of your Altoid can. Kind of press it down there. Well, that one's got the screw backed out of it. I'll back the screw out of all of them so they'll set pretty solid. And these will end up being your pot holder. You'll be able to keep your pot up off the fire through these things. And you do all 4 of these that way. Okay, now we've got these screws all in. The liquid weld is dried. And take a look at those. See, that's what they are. And here, actually, these are available at most hardware stores. But here's what they look like. See, it's threaded on the inside, and then a screws inside of it. These are shorter than those in there, but a screws inside of it. And what I've done, I scratched up the bottom of it, and then it's glued to the base of the Altoids can. And that's just a simple little deal. So what we're going to do now is we're going to put in some of the fiberglass insulation, and we just poke it down in there and kind of spread it out. I got my needle nose pliers here for this next step, and get this little piece of wire in there. Just fit it in. Kind of bend it so it gets in there. What I like to do is just bend these corners back so the screw will fit in there with no hassle. You should be able to stick it down in there. Takes a little while. Okay, I'll come back here when it's done. Okay, I went and got my kitchen shears here and cut off a little bit more of this wire. And let's see if we can pop it down in there. Fairly, I say easily. There we go. Now, that's popped in. You got the stove base there. You've got the, the fiberglass in place. Now here's how this works. These little screws that came on there. You see, once you get the fire all ready, just thread these on the top. And these are shorter ones because you want the pan to set down tight with the fire so you don't lose any heat. It makes it more efficient. Now, if I were doing this with a a beeswax candle, for example, I would be using a longer post because you want to set up a little higher so it doesn't melt all the wax down. And then your camp pot just sets right on there. It's kind of a neat little stove, and we'll light it here later on this afternoon so you can see the flame. It's alcohol, you can't hardly see it. So what you do is you put your alcohol in this medium, light it, set your pan on it, you got a little cook stove. Now when you're done, after it goes out, just back these screws off, just let them lay in here. They're too long, a little bit too long to set in there, and just close it up, and there you go. You got a little alcohol stove. And we'll go back a little bit later and we'll light this thing and boil some water. Anyway, that's an Altoids stove. They're easy to build, they're very efficient, and they'll fit in a pocket or a backpack. And for more information on these things, you can go to www.tips-for-camping.com. Check out our survival page. We'll be doing a lot more of these. Anyway, appreciate it. Good camping. Okay, here's the stove. Now it's all set up. We've completed this. By the way, this takes about probably 30 to 45 minutes to really do one, not counting the cure time for the epoxy, which you let it cure overnight. I've got 2 cups of water here. Now, granted, this is not something you'd be carrying with you. I just wanted to show you something. And we'll kind of try to do it. Heat. Get it out of the automotive store. It's alcohol. And this is one of the little drink holders from a nighttime sneezing and coughing so you can sleep, cold medicine. And just pour it in. It's about 2 ounces. Kind of pour it all around on the, all around on the fiberglass there. You may have a little bit of auxiliary flame going out. A little bit away from there. Now I'll put the 2 cups of water in the pan. This is just one of our mess kit pans. And we just go ahead and relight it. And the fiberglass is not burning. And we'll set it right on there. Take a look at the watch here, and we'll see how long this takes, and we'll keep watching it. And it is 11:27 down there in the corner. When we started this, we're timed with a cell phone. And we'll get with this here. Well, actually, there's a better way of saying it right there. It's 11:27 when we started this. Okay, it's been, let's see, it's 11:32, and we're starting to get a little bit of boil here. I think I'll make myself some ginger peach green tea. Taking a little bit of time to start, but it's looking really good. Like I say, that's 2 cups of water. Yeah, I think I'll use my glove. It's a little bit warm on the handles here. And the fire's burning well. We'll just put this back on the flame, let it get really hot. Anyway, there you go. Like I say, it's just a few minutes into this thing, and we've got boiling hot water. I want to make a cup of tea. You can make some coffee if you wanted to. You can also make some, your dehydrated foods. But once again, go to our website. It's www.tips-for, that's F-O-R, camping.com. And this is a great little stove. Cheap, easy to make, helps on a pinch. Good camp.